You go into these communities and you really have to put your heart out there to understand where their heart is and know there you might be coming across people that are homeless that are on Medicaid. They're going to be evicted, and you just have to just sympathize and just know where you can insert yourself to help that family.
Welcome to the Unknown Options, the place where we explore the unknown options, the number one source for career apprehension and accessibility. My name is Will. Today I have with me Alicia. Alicia, it's great to have you here. Give us a rundown on who you are and what you do.
Yes. Hey, thank you for having me. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised. I am a sports fanatic. I'm always going to games, always doing fun stuff in the community. I love serving my community, and that kind of led me to my career care, where I'm our senior community relations rep. I have a big heart for people and just family. I'm a dog mom. I have a German Shepherd, Draco. He's about to be 5, actually, so he's getting old. And I'm a auntie. I'm a big sister. Um, Everyone calls me sister mom. Me and my little brother have a 12-year gap, so I'm like mom sister to him for sure. Have a big family. And just love hanging out. I love my friends and meeting new people. And yeah.
Nice. I love to hear it. Your journey is important, so we want to highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly. For someone who might not know, what is a senior community relations rep?
So I work for WellCare of North Carolina. The state of North Carolina just kind of changed the way that Medicaid works, from like a fee for service where the state controls Medicaid to managed care. So 3 years ago, we went through what we called Medicaid transformation, and it was pretty much the state contracting healthcare plans to do the work that they were doing. They wanted to kind of make healthcare more accessible, have better advocacy for those that are on Medicaid, and just a better sense of case management and making sure that people were getting quality healthcare. So I work for one of the 5 healthcare plans that the state contracted. And essentially, my job is helping families understand what Medicaid is now and how Medicaid works, and also helping community partners, nonprofits, community-based organizations understand how Medicaid works now, because it's so drastically different. North Carolina is one of the last states to really adapt to this model. So we learned from states like New York and Florida and Texas, who have all like kind of been on this journey. California have been on this journey for a long, long time now. So I guess to kind of explain what my day to day looks like is making sure that I'm up to date and educated on what's going on in the Medicaid world. North Carolina also just went through Medicaid expansion. So we launched Medicaid transformation in July of 21. We started it like prepping everyone for that about a year before that. But anyway, so that launched and we got people on the ground knowing how Medicaid would work now, that families would have somebody kind of walking side by side with them to navigate their health care. They would have what we call value added benefits. So Medicaid not now only covers health care, it covers if you need a rental deposit, if you want to send your kids to the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, all of those things are kind of what we call value added benefits. So we got a general understanding in the public of giving that education out. And then December 1st, you may or may not know, I mean, it's a pretty big thing for North Carolina. They did Medicaid expansion, so that launched. And now over 600,000 people are now eligible for Medicaid. So they increased the income gap, because Medicaid, you qualify for Medicaid based on income and household size. So they increased that threshold for a lot of families. A lot of people sit at that income where it's like, okay, I'm doing well, I can afford this, this, and this, but health insurance is just, that's what kind of pushes everybody over the edge. And that's what makes people not be able to afford basic necessities like rent and food and all of the things that you also need to be healthy. So
Yeah.
North Carolina raised that income gap. If you had family planning, which planning was a form of Medicaid, that really just covered OBGYN and having a baby for women. And then they had like a men's type of family planning. And now that they got rid of that, so now everyone has full Medicaid now. And December 1st, we probably rolled 150,000 people across the 5 healthcare plans into a full Medicaid plan. So that's a little bit of my world. And yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely said a lot, but it definitely made sense.
Yeah.
How did you introduce to like this industry or that industry?
So I went to school for health systems management and public health. I went to UNC Charlotte, graduated. I was a COVID graduate, so I didn't get to walk or anything, but that's okay. I'll go back and get my master's at some point so I can walk across the stage, but I'll pay all that money for that. But so I love that world. I actually had a minor in gerontology, and that's kind of like the study of aging. So I thought I was going to go into the Medicare world and work with seniors and those that are over 65. But my best friend, Kobe, actually, her dad worked for United Healthcare, Allidaid. He works for in the healthcare industry, and the power of networking, and it's all about who you know, not what you know. He knew one of the former VPs at WellCare, and he got me my foot in the door for an interview, and it was a brand new position that launched, and that's kind of how I got here. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Can you and I know I made a mistake when we first started. I thought you worked in Medicare. Can
Clear.
you
Yeah.
give us the difference between Medicare and Medicaid?
Yeah, so Medicaid is for anyone 0 to 64 years and 11 months and like 31 days old. If you are over the age of 60, once you hit 65, you go to Medicare. Most of the times in Medicaid, you see a lot of families, moms, kids are predominantly who we serve. Um, Definitely babies. Most babies or can fall into Medicaid just because of how income changes. But Medicaid is based off income. Medicare is based off age.
Okay, perfect,
Yes.
excellent. Okay, that's now I'm educated. More educated.
Yeah, the easiest way to explain. There's a lot of other factors, but that's the basis for sure.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, what does I mean? Obviously, you contribute a lot, and your job contributes a lot. But what would you say makes your job important? How does it contribute to like the general public?
Yeah, so like I mean, with Medicaid being this form of Medicaid being so new, a lot of people just don't know because it's not something that if you're a single mom and you have 4 kids and you're worried about getting dinner on the table, you're not making it a priority to like be as educated as you could be on Medicaid. So when it comes to my position, I'm trying to find these families where they are, so I will set up at a YMCA, at a Title I school. We do like events with Walmart or Dollar General, or this past weekend or yeah, 2 weekends ago we set up at North Lake Mall. So these families are Christmas shopping or whatever, but we're like, "Hey, can we just like help you understand what Medicaid looks like?" And it's not always that we're going to reach Medicaid beneficiaries, but we may be meeting the grandma or someone whose neighbor knows this. So I think that's what makes my job really important, is just spreading the education. And it doesn't always have to be to someone who is on Medicaid. It could be to a caseworker or someone that's in the hospital system that can better help navigate these families. So just sharing knowledge in general, I think, is really what makes my job so important, and making sure that those families have all of the services that they could possibly have.
I love it. Okay, I love it. I know you mentioned earlier you had a minor in gerontology. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
Um, what's your tell us like your? Cause that's an interesting minor. I think I've never heard of it before until you mentioned it. Tell us your path from like high school to college and now. I mean, obviously you said you were maybe going into that field, but you changed your mind somewhere with networking.
Yeah. So actually, up until my last year of college, I just knew I was going to go into athletic training. And that's kind of how my journey was through high school. I was always an athletic trainer, like all the way through. I went to Western Carolina because they had a great athletic training program. I kind of shaped everything around that. And I mean, I've always loved sports. But I got to college and I started growing up, and I was like, dang, well, if I'm an athletic trainer and I know myself personally, like I'm going to like my goal right from where I am today is to be a CEO. Like if I was going to be an athletic trainer, I was going to go to the NFL. I was going to be an athletic trainer in the league. And like, so I knew that was how I was going to try and push myself. And when I looked back on, I want to have a family, I want to be married, I want to have kids, all of those things, I was like, okay, well, I don't think this is the major that I want to be in. So I changed my path. I did a victory lap and changed my path to health systems management. And so through college, when that last year, I did a lot of community service. I worked in a lot of senior homes. And at that point, I thought that I wanted to like run a facility, like a senior home or a long-term care facility, a skilled nursing, something like that. And it kind of just switched paths when I was offered this job. And I didn't know what Medicaid was. Like I knew Medicare, like I knew what Medicaid was because obviously I learned through it through my major, but I didn't realize how big of an impact it can have on someone's life. Like the services, especially now where we're at with Medicaid, it just has such a large impact. And that's kind of how my journey is taken now of like, Medicare's cool, like it's helping seniors and there's other ways to be on Medicare, but I knew like my heart was more driven to helping people right now, and especially people that look like me and are from communities that I was raised in. So that's kind of where my journey changed, and now I'm like I only see myself in Medicaid or like serving this population. So yeah.
Okay, I like it. That's a great path. And no path, I guess career path is linear in a way, so that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
not.
I know you said that your position is new that you just started in.
Mhm.
It was college required for that position?
College is required now, just at our company in general. So yeah, so college is required for my position, about just a bachelor's degree. It doesn't have to be in anything related. I do know some of the positions they like foresee college if you have enough experience in the workforce. Funny story. I like met with my director months before they opened up the interview process, and I had already graduated college, but she was always like, Alicia, if we have this interview, I'm taking the biggest chance on you. You're fresh out of college, you have no experience, you have literally no clue what Medicaid even means. Like before I interview you, you have to know X, Y, and Z. So she was really sweet, and I got really lucky with having I have the best, we call our managers people leaders. I have the best people leaders I think any person out of college could have gotten, just because, I mean, it's taking a big chance. So you do have to have a degree now for my position, or 5 years of experience. So
Okay. Oh man. Wow. Okay. Do you think that this position? 'Cause I know you said it's new at your current company. Do you expect like the demand for it to grow or decline in the future?
the demand for this position, like
Yeah.
like
Just for I guess like
we're definitely sorry.
I think we're lagging. You're good.
Okay. I think the demand for my position is going to have to grow. Are you saying like in the amount of people that will be in my position? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I guess more so like, do you think there'll be more like community relations roles in like healthcare companies in the future, or do you think there'll be less than there currently?
No, it's going to have to grow. The way Medicaid is growing in our country in general, and a lot of this thing is going to play around the election and what those things happen in this next re-election, whatever. I'm not really into politics and all of those things, but that plays a big role into Medicaid, how many dollars the states are getting, and like all of those things. Us getting a new governor is going to change a lot of things. But in the grand scheme of the country, I think my job will always exist because Medicaid is always going to be changing because there's always new laws, there's new budgets that are being released, and the way the country's moving right now, it's almost a necessity, especially with inflation, and just that middle class number is not what it used to be even 5, 6 years ago. So I think my job I mean, what I do now, I think I do the job of two people, and we could definitely use more of me on my team. But yeah, so there's definitely gonna be room for it, and I'm hoping in the next year to even hires maybe 10 more of me to do the work that I'm doing across the state. So
Okay. Wow. Okay. Nice. Okay, now we're hopping into the not so speed round, which is the obviously like it says it's a not so speed round. We're gonna ask you a few questions and see what you have to say. What
okay.
are 4 words that describe a community relations rep?
Oh wow. Okay. I would say outgoing. Um wow. I'm so bad at these word synonyms. Outgoing, um like community, like impactful, I would say, driven, and like a big heart. I think that's more than 4 words, but that's what I'm going with.
I think that was 4. Why a big heart?
Just you have to, if you aren't, if you didn't put yourself in the people's shoes, then you really wouldn't know how to serve. Um, and my job is, I mean, it's a servant's job, a servant's role. You go into these communities and you really have to put your heart out there to understand where their heart is, and know there you might be coming across people that are homeless that are on Medicaid. They're going to be evicted, and you just have to just sympathize and just know where you can insert yourself to help that family. So I feel like having a big heart and just making yourself vulnerable to situations is a huge piece of it.
Okay. What's a profession that's obviously not that your current profession that's most likely that you would think that you?
That I would pick. I would say either social work or case management, and that sounds so crazy now because looking back, like going to school for something like that, I don't think that's what I would have ever thought of. But being in this role now and like working hand in hand with like social workers and case managers, um, it's where I think my heart is just the service of people. I think that, or like running a nonprofit, like being an executive director of like a nonprofit, is some roles that I align with.
Okay, I like it. What does society look like without community relations reps?
And, I I would say, I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but uneducated. I mean, I think our role is all about education. I think society, and a little sad. Like I feel like especially our team brings so much fun into our communities that we're serving, like whether we're coming in with an ice cream truck or bringing in gifts or making sure that we're doing back to school book bags. Like I just feel like we bring smiles to so many communities, and along with education. So
What is like the good, the bad, and the ugly about being a community relations rep?
the good, I think I've said that a million times, is just the people that you come across. But that can also be the bad because there's so many like days I come home and I'm like, wow, I feel like there's more that we could have done for this family, or there's different things that we can do different, like, but at the end of the day it's set on that family and them finding the resources. We can give them the resources, but we can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. So I think that's a big thing, of the bad. And the ugly in my role is that sometimes my workday does not end at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And it leads to burnout, especially in the holiday season. But I think that's also the good in it, as we have our slow season and then we have like our bigger, more busy seasons around like back to school and holidays and things like that. So that
Okay,
those are the three for sure.
okay, I like that. Yeah, the yeah that's a good ugly truth. I like that one.
Yeah.
Work day. And I hear it a lot too, for not like just your position, but a lot of positions.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah. Burnout is real. So I go to therapy for family, for friends, and for work. Like I have it all figured out in that point, because burnout is real, and I've had times where I'm like, I just don't want to do this anymore. So it's definitely important to manage that. So yeah.
are you underpaid or overpaid?
Um Compared to my colleagues for different plans, I am overpaid, they would say. For the heart and the what I put into it, I would say I'm underpaid. But if you take both of those, I'm like right at a happy medium of I'm probably paid exactly where I'm supposed to be getting paid. So
That was a great answer.
yeah.
Can't lie. That was a perfect answer. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
What's a one person, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life and why?
One person, book, or event. Just one?
Hey,
um,
what did you want?
um, I would say the person that changed the trajectory of how I look at life is my papa, actually. He passed in 2018, and that was like it was my first time experiencing death, and I don't know how I guess I'm going to go as deep as I have already, but it was something that made me look at how short life is and how long it can be at the same time, and the impact that you can make in your lifespan. That really started putting things in perspective. It made me understand that I have to work hard if I want to be where I want to be, and you can't make excuses, but you also have to love really hard, and you have to cherish the moments that you have with the people that actually care about you, and you have to be happy with what you're doing. Like if you're not happy, then just forget about it. Like just move on to whatever makes you happy, and always be chasing that thing that makes you happy. And not that I don't think that I've ever been able to be complacent in where I'm at, but knowing that there's something next, and a lot of people may not think that that's the best thing, but I'm always chasing something. Like just being happy and being with the people that care about me is a big thing. So that was the one person that changed something for me. Like when he passed, it was like, okay, Alicia, if it doesn't make you happy, then you have to move to the next thing. So I think that changed my career trajectory, my work ethic, and now I'm at the point of like, okay, well, what's next, Alicia? Like I don't want to be like in this role forever. Like I said, I want to be the CEO one day. So how do I get there? And that's he lives in my head rent free every day. I hear Papa like, okay, Alicia, are you happy? What's next? What's gonna
Yeah,
happen? So I would say that him.
I like it. Okay, my grandmother, she passed away in 2018 too, and she's definitely had she was really influential in my life as well. So I
Yeah.
can relate to that aspect. Okay. Last question. How would, let's say, a young let's say her name is Miss Taylor. She saw this interview and she wants to be a community relations rep. What are the steps that you give her to get to where you're at?
Oh, not worrying about being top of your class, and more so worrying about being a people person and relatable, and knowing people from all walks of life, and making your network as big as you can make it. Never saying no to an opportunity that presents itself to you. But knowing when to say no, and what's going to lead you to that success. So I think that's the main thing that I would say is most important in how I got to where I am today is I was always networking. I was always inserting myself in conversations that sometimes I may not have had a place, but I wanted to learn, and knowing to just kind of find people that will hold your hand and bring you to the tables that you're supposed to be at. And sometimes it's hard to find those people, especially in our society of no one wants their seat taken away from the table. So I think it's a really important, especially as a black woman, bringing a chair to the table and not holding like one chair hostage. I mean, the table can be as small as it is, but chairs can go all the way around the table, even for making a second row. So finding people that take a chance on you, I think is the main step, and that could be in middle school, high school, finding those mentors that really care about you, and then just being yourself. I've learned that, especially over the last couple of years, and that's a piece of me that I look back on and regret a lot, of just trying to fit in or be what somebody else wanted me to be. But now that I'm kind of unapologetically Alicia, I think I've gotten even further in my friendships with my family, at work. Just being yourself is the best piece of advice and knowledge that I finally figured out, is being around the people you care and letting those people know that you're going to be yourself every day and showing up as that unapologetically.
I love it. That was an amazing answer. Okay, I love it.
Thanks.
That was a great answer. That might have been the best. No shade to my previous guest, especially my mom, but that might have been the best final.
Thank
Um,
you.
um, give the if you want to give the guest where they can reach out to you at, and like definitely for your.
Yeah, so I am on LinkedIn at under Alisha Martin. You can find me there if you want to connect work wise. I'm also on Instagram, and hopefully, I know we were saying in 2024 I'll get back to my fit journey, and I think my Instagram name is Alicia's Fit Journey there, and Alisha Martin on Instagram. I love to just be involved in the community. I love to go out and have a good time, and I love to serve my community. So I think those are the main places you can find me.
Thank you. This has been a wonderful interview with Alicia. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and reach out to Alicia if you need her help or if you want to talk.
Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all have a nice night.